Will Byers had his orientation confirmed in the season 4 finale of Stranger Things, right? Well, that might seem like an odd question to ask, but it's honestly not, because ever since the first part of season 4 dropped, fans have been asking questions about whether Will is more than he has let on in the first few seasons. But Volume 1 didn't exactly give us the best answer, and the cast have only been slightly helpful in trying to figure it out as well. But now Volume 2 of season 4 is out, and that means that there might be an answer for us after all. Right? Number 3, Will and his orientation. Ever since the third season of the sci-fi teen show, viewers have been questioning whether the character of Will Byers, played by Noah Schnapp, is gay, and developing feelings for best friend Mike, Finn Wolfhard. But two of the show stars, Millie Bobby Brown and Noah himself, have questioned the need to label Will's sexuality, adding that the show has left it down to interpretation for a reason. In an interview with Variety, Noah said, "I feel like they never really address it or blatantly say how Will is. I think that's the beauty of it, that it's just up to the audience's interpretation. If it's Will kind of just refusing to grow up and growing up slower than his friends, or if he is really gay." Millie then added, "Can I just say it's 2022 and we don't have to label things? I think that's what's really nice about Will's character is that he's just a human being going through his own personal demons and issues. So many kids out there don't know, and that's okay. That's okay to not know, and that's okay not to label things." Noah concludes, "I find that people do reach to put a label on him and just want to know so badly, like, oh, and this is it. He's just confused and growing up, and that's what it is to be a kid." It seems that all the cast members aren't being as subtle about a possible romance between Will and Mike, however. In a May 2022 video for Netflix Mexico, David Harbour, Jim Hopper in the show, and Finn Wolfhard appeared to hint that Will really is into Mike, as they reacted to Stranger Things fan theories. Responding in surprise to a suggestion that Eleven and Will embark on a secret relationship, David says, "If you've been watching the show, you should know that Will is not interested in Elle. He's interested in someone else in the group." Finn later adds before trailing off, "You'll see soon that he's interested in..." As you can probably guess, we didn't get a finished answer, and that's part of what is setting fans off, because they want to know what is going to happen and with who. But as Millie and Noah noted, you don't always have to put a label on things right away. Stranger Things is really good at letting things grow in a rather natural way, and things can easily go one way or another given the twists and turns that this show likes to do. Number 2, the path to this question. Anyone tracking the journey of Will Byers, Noah Schnapp, over the course of the show has noticed that the kid who survived the Upside Down has struggled to reconnect with his old Dungeons & Dragons buddies for reasons that don't seem to have much to do with being captured by a Demogorgon from an alternate dimension. Namely, Will seems like he is gay and struggling to come out, or at least that's how it looks to fans, and that is enough for them to start talking about it in various ways. That impression only grew stronger in Season 4, Volume 1. In the first episode, Will and Eleven, Millie Bobby Brown, have to give a presentation in their new California high school on a hero that they look up to. Will chooses Alan Turing, the gay mathematician who was prosecuted in the 1950s for his sexuality and forced to undergo chemical castration. Will also physically recoils from a girl who shows interest in him, and when Mike, Finn Wolfhard, visits from Hawkins in episode 2 over spring break, Will appears heartbroken that Mike has been so indifferent to him in favor of his girlfriend, Eleven. Later, in episode 4, when Mike confides in Will that he wishes he'd express his feelings for Eleven more plainly to her, Will offers insight that could easily apply to anyone working up the courage to come out to a best friend. Sometimes I think it's just scary to open up like that, to say how you really feel, especially to people you care about the most, Will says. But what if? What if they don't like the truth?
So yeah, Elle needs you, Mike, and she always will.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For their part, Schnapp and Brown said that they're happy that Will's sexuality has remained undefined. It is such an amazing role for Noah to play, Brown says, and to be that role model for kids out there who don't know what they're going through growing up. Will is kind of like a zebra in a field of horses, Schnapp adds. He kind of stands out. It's just nice to see that and have that shown on Stranger Things for fans to connect to and be able to relate to, because so many of our viewers are young kids who are at that stage in their life. Indeed, there has been a very fair and natural showcasing of relationships in this series. From Mike and Eleven to Steve and how he looks at women to Dustin and his camp girlfriend and now with Will. Things are going in various directions because that's what needs to happen here. But where it goes from here, well, like everything else in the show, is very much up in the air because who knows what the Duffer Brothers have going on in their heads. In fact, they were actually asked about this, and the full arc of the story hasn't come to pass yet because we really are in episode 7. It's what we call the end of our second act. So there's a lot more resolution in the story. We're trying to do the same with the characters' arcs. And I would say that applies to Will's arc. So it's going to be much easier to talk about for everyone, the actors and us, once those final 2 episodes have played. But certainly his journey and arc is far from finished. Now, that was naturally enough for fans to get excited about what might be shown in those final 2 episodes of Season 4. So, let's talk about it. Number 1, the final episodes of Season 4. The new episodes feature 2 prominent Will Byers gay kinda scenes, one in each episode. The first features him cheering up his buddy and subtextual crush Mike by saying all the amazing things he thinks about Mike, but in the guise of saying that they're what his girlfriend Eleven thinks. The scene includes the gay phrase, "When you're different sometimes you feel like a mistake," and ends with Will's brother Jonathan seeming to fully understand what Will's thinking. The second episode features an even more emotional moment, where Jonathan telling Will that he loves and accepts him no matter what. It is a lovely scene and a lovely way to respond to your brother coming out.
I don't want you to forget that I'm here. And I'll always be here. No matter what. Because you're my brother. And I love you.
Only Will didn't come out. It was all subtext, and at this point the subtextualization of Will's sexuality is becoming a problem in the eyes of some fans. Because as many of you know now, since Volume 2 is out, many of the couples on the show got to have their big moments by the end. Mike admitted he loved Eleven and saved her via that, Hopper and Joyce reunited and got to admit their own feelings to one another, and so on. But as for Will, he's just there. Yes, he does have his brother who is now fully supporting him, and that's a big step because it's subtly stated that he gets what Will is.
There is nothing in this world, okay? Absolutely nothing that will ever change that. You got that?
Yeah.
But that doesn't help in the larger problem. Mainly, Will is still hiding. Sure, in Season 5 we could get the big coming out moment that many are hoping for, but we also could not. Maybe the Duffer Brothers want Will to be dealing with this much longer than fans want for one reason or another. It's honestly hard to say. But what we can say is fans will still be talking about this for some time. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at Will Byers and whether his orientation was or wasn't confirmed by the final 2 episodes of Season 4? Do you think that there is a conclusion to be made here? Or do you think that this was intentionally left unanswered so that we could have another plotline to deal with in Season 5? What will be the fate of Will Byers as a whole by the time that season ends? Let us know in the comments below, and we will see you next time on the channel.